Much more will be said about it. We'll have so much time to talk and brag about Dianne Feinstein. Her legacy will be a long one that we will all be inspired by. But today, at this time, just hours since her passing, rather than talk about her, let us just pray that she rests in peace. And in that regard, Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all present in the chamber, as well as members and staff throughout the Capitol, to please rise for a moment of silence in remembrance of the late Honorable Senator Dianne Feinstein.
This morning, Speaker of the House Emerita Nancy Pelosi gathered the California House delegation to the floor of the chamber for a moment of silence to honor the passing of Senator Dianne Feinstein. Congresswoman Barbara Lee is a Democratic member of the California delegation representing Oakland and surrounding areas just across the San Francisco Bay from where the late senator began her political journey. She's also declared herself as a candidate for Senate in California. Congresswoman Lee joins me now. It's good to have you, Congresswoman.
Nice being with you, Chris.
Congresswoman, you obviously have served alongside in a different House, Dianne Feinstein, for decades, representing Californians, and knew her well, and just would love to hear reflections on how you're feeling on the day of her passing.
Chris, today is really a very sad day. And I was in the Senate chambers where members of the California delegation honored her, also on the House floor. And you know, we're really mourning grieving, but also we have to celebrate her life. And what a remarkable life. I mean, Senator Feinstein was an icon. She led on so many issues as a woman before anyone was leading on issues, men or women, for example, on the LGBTQ plus struggle and fight for equal rights. She was there on issues around gun control, and the footage you had about her on the Senate floor. That was classic Dianne. And here we are now in a moment where we have to pass the assault weapon ban because Dianne Feinstein fought for safe communities and she saved lives through her legislation with the assault weapon ban. Finally, I'll just say, on a personal note, right after the authorization to use military force came forward in 2001, Senator Feinstein, of course, I was the only one that voted against that. Everyone else voted for it. But Senator Feinstein, and this just shows you how kind she was a painter, and she knew I loved orchids. And she painted a beautiful orchid and sent it to me and marked the date and signed it for me. And it was a gesture of kindness and love, even though she disagreed with me. But that was her. And I have that hanging in my place here in D.C. And every day I look at that because she really brought forth what a true public servant is, could be, and also was, but also a kind and gentle spirit.
It's so interesting. That's a fascinating story. And of course, when you voted against the authorization of the use of military force, you were the lone vote in the House, and the lone vote in both houses, if I'm not mistaken. I think it passed unanimously in the Senate as well. And it's interesting that you talk about that and that gesture of her, because you know, some I think who've looked at your career and look at her career would say you have sort of different politics, or have come through different parts of the Democratic Party, but it sounds like you feel a profound sense of respect for her.
I do, and we work together on many issues. I mean, I represent Oakland, Berkeley, California, the 12th Congressional District, and she helped me with delivering federal funds to my district and the entire state. We worked on issues together, and not everyone agrees with everyone all of the time, but I think because of who she was and being able to get the job done, you can see her legacy, working with Republicans, working with moderates, working with progressives. She cared about people. She cared about her state, and she would work with anyone as long as we were committed to doing the right thing. Also, let me just say, she had a keen sense of why diversity matters. And we were on the Senate floor listening to the tribute. Senator Padilla mentioned how he had worked in her office. And there was an African-American man named Percy Pinckney, who she tasked with representing her in the black community. And he did a phenomenal job. You know, and Percy was her representative. And we knew when Percy was there, Senator Feinstein would hear what the concerns were and that she would act on it. And so today, my thoughts and prayers go out to her family. I know it's a very difficult time. Condolences to her friends and extended family. And we have to take a moment to just, yes, mourn and grieve, but also celebrate her wonderful life.
Congresswoman, I have you here, and you talked about issues you've worked across party lines or across lines within the Democratic Party. And since I have you here and there's the shutdown happening, I wanted to ask you about one other issue that you were really committed to, which is PEPFAR. That's the global fund that was started under the Bush administration. It was an amazing sort of coalition of left-right folks to fund low-cost and free AIDS medicine in Africa. It has saved probably millions of lives. It's probably the best thing that came out of the Bush administration. There is a targeted campaign among your House colleagues on the right in the Republican caucus to attack PEPFAR, to go after it as these appropriation bills come through. And I would just wanted to get your response to this, which has been a wildly successful intervention, bipartisan effort, the attacks on it.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, PEPFAR was actually my idea. I brought that idea to President Bush in a meeting, and we put forth legislation. I worked with him and the White House and everyone, Secretary Colin Powell, Condoleezza Rice, and we put together what is known now as PEPFAR. We've saved 25 lives. And let me tell you, Senator Frist, Senator Kerry, Henry Hyde, Congressman Lantos, we all worked together to keep this and make this a bipartisan initiative. Again, saved 25 lives, and we extended it with just a clean extension for 5 years, every 5 years. Now we have those in the House, most of which are the MAGA extremists, who are trying to derail us by trying to insert language that they know is would be a poison pill. And so right now I'm negotiating, with the Republicans to try to get it extended.
We're going to stay on this issue, our eyes on it. Congresswoman Barbara Lee, thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.